Dr. Zelak looked at the time display on her wrist device. Her shift would end in 10 minutes. The Vorthak doctor stretched her long reptilian neck and felt her scales relax. It had been a quiet day at Kepler Station Medical Center. Only 3 patients had come in. A Zealite with a cracked crystal arm, an ethereal with gas leak problems, and a Vorthak child with stomach pain. The medical center served many different alien species. Each species had their own needs. The Vorthak were tough, but went into sleep mode when hurt badly. The crystal zeolites could break apart and put themselves back together. The gas-like ethereals could spread out when damaged. All of them had ways to protect themselves from serious harm. The emergency alarm made a loud noise. Dr. Zelak's head snapped up. Red lights flashed on all the walls. Something was wrong. She pressed a button on her desk to see what was happening. The security cameras showed the station corridors. At first, she saw nothing unusual. Then she noticed the red spots on the floor. Blood. Fresh blood. A lot of it. The trail led from the cargo docks toward the medical center. Computer, scan for injured beings in Corridor 7, Dr. Zelak said. Scanning. The computer replied. Warning. Life form detected with severe injuries. Multiple bone fractures detected. Internal bleeding detected. Severe trauma detected. Dr. Zelak frowned. If someone was hurt that badly, where were they? She looked at the camera again. Still no one in the hallway. Just the blood trail getting thicker. Computer. Where is the injured life form? Life form is mobile and approaching medical center entrance. Mobile? That was impossible. No being could move with those kinds of injuries. Dr. Zelak had studied medicine for 20 years. She knew what severe trauma meant. It meant unconsciousness. It meant the body shutting down to save itself. It meant lying still until help arrived. She watched the corridor camera more carefully. Then she saw movement at the edge of the screen. A figure walked slowly but steadily toward the medical center. The being left bloody footprints with each step. Dr. Zelak's jaw dropped open. It was a human. A male human. His clothes were torn and bloody. His left arm hung at a wrong angle. She could see his ribs pushing out against his shirt in places they should not be. His face was covered with cuts and bruises. Blood ran from a wound on his head, but he was walking, not crawling, not leaning against the wall, walking upright on his own power. This cannot be real, Dr. Zelak whispered. She pressed the emergency button. All medical staff to the front desk. We have a severe trauma case incoming. The other doctors and nurses rushed out from their offices. Dr. Venth, another Vorthak, looked confused. Nurse Shimmer, a zealite whose crystal body sparkled with worry, floated beside him. Nurse Flo, an ethereal, formed into a dense cloud shape. Where is the patient? Dr. Venth asked. Walking through the front door right now, Dr. Zelak said. They all stared at her. Then they stared at the front entrance. The automatic doors slid open with a soft whoosh. The human male stepped inside. He moved slowly but with purpose. Each step looked painful. But he did not stop. He did not fall. He did not cry out. His breathing was heavy and quick, but steady. His eyes were focused and clear. The human walked up to the reception desk. He placed his good hand on the counter to support himself. Blood dripped from his fingers onto the clean white surface. I need medical attention, he said in a calm voice. His words were clear despite the blood on his lips. The reception robot, a simple AI unit, began its standard scan. Immediately, alarms started going off all over the medical center. Red warning lights flashed. The robot's voice became urgent. Critical trauma detected. 17 bone fractures. Internal bleeding. Severe concussion. Patient requires immediate emergency care. Dr. Zelak and her staff stood frozen. They had never seen anything like this. The human should have been unconscious. He should have been dying. His pain levels should have shut down his nervous system. 2 orderlies rushed forward with a floating stretcher. The human held up his good hand to stop them. I can walk, he said simply. Sir, you need to lie down, Dr. Venth said. Your injuries are very serious. I know, the human replied. But I can still walk. Dr. Zelak stepped closer. She activated her medical scanner and pointed it at the human. The readings made no sense. His pain levels were higher than anything she had ever seen. The scanner showed fractures in his ribs, his left arm, his right leg, both ankles, his spine, his collarbone, and his jaw. Internal organs were bleeding. His brain showed signs of serious trauma. Yet he stood upright. His heart rate was high but stable. His breathing was controlled. He was conscious and thinking clearly. What is your name? Dr. Zelak asked. Marcus Chen. I haul cargo between stations. How did this happen to you? Pirates attacked my ship. Explosion in the cargo bay. I got caught in it. When did this happen? Marcus thought for a moment. About 6 hours ago. Dr. Zelak's scales went pale. You have been conscious for 6 hours with these injuries? Had to pilot my ship here. Took some time to crawl through the damaged sections first. The medical staff looked at each other in shock. This human had crawled through a damaged spaceship, then piloted it for hours, all while suffering injuries that would have killed most beings instantly. Please, Dr. Venth said gently. Let us help you to a treatment room. Marcus nodded. Okay, which way? Dr. Zelak pointed down the hallway. Follow me. Marcus began walking again. Each step left a small bloody footprint on the floor. His broken ankle bones ground together with each movement. But he did not stumble. He kept his eyes forward and his breathing steady. The medical staff walked beside him, ready to catch him if he fell. But Marcus Chen did not fall. He walked the entire way to the treatment room under his own power. As they reached the treatment room, Dr. Zelak had only one thought running through her mind. How was the human species still alive? How had they survived long enough to reach the stars if they did not have the sense to fall down when they were dying? She was about to learn that humans had survived not by avoiding damage, but by refusing to let damage stop them. Marcus Chen sat upright on the examination table. Dr. Zelak had asked him 3 times to lie down. Each time, he politely refused. I am fine sitting up, Marcus said. His voice was steady despite the pain lines around his eyes. Dr. Zelak activated the advanced medical scanner. The machine hummed as it created a detailed picture of Marcus's body. The results appeared on the wall screen. Every doctor and nurse in the room stared in silence. The scan showed Marcus's skeleton in bright white lines. Red markers indicated every break and crack. Dr. Zelak counted them carefully. 17 separate fractures. His left arm was broken in 2 places. 6 ribs were cracked or broken. His right leg bone had a long crack running through it. Both ankles were shattered. 3 bones in his spine were fractured. His collarbone was snapped. His jaw had a hairline crack. Impossible, whispered Nurse Shimmer. Her crystal body flickered with confusion. Dr. Venth studied the brain scan. He shows signs of severe concussion. The trauma should have caused unconsciousness immediately. Nurse Flo, the ethereal, condensed into a tighter cloud. His pain receptors are firing at maximum levels. No being can function with this much pain. Dr. Zelak looked at the internal organ scan. Internal bleeding in his liver and 1 kidney. Blood pressure is elevated but stable. How are you still conscious? 2. Marcus shrugged with his good shoulder. The movement made him wince. But he did not cry out. Hurts like hell. But I have had worse. The entire medical staff stared at him. Dr. Zelak had been practicing medicine for 20 years. She had never heard anyone say they had experienced worse than 17 broken bones. Worse than this? Dr. Venth asked. Broke my back in a mining accident when I was 25. Walked 4 miles to get help. Or the time I got crushed under a cargo loader. Stayed conscious through that too. Dr. Zelak felt dizzy. In her species, such injuries would trigger immediate hibernation sleep. The body would shut down all non-essential functions to focus on healing. The Vorthak would sleep for weeks while their bones slowly mended. She looked at Nurse Shimmer. The zeolite people could break apart when injured. Their crystal bodies would separate into smaller pieces, each piece healing independently. Then, they would rejoin when ready. Nurse flow could disperse into gas when threatened. Ethereals avoided most physical damage by spreading out until the danger passed. But humans did none of these things. They just kept going. "Tell us what happened," Dr. Zelak said, as she prepared pain medication. Marcus began his story while she worked. "Pirates hit my cargo ship about 6 hours ago. 3 ships, armed with plasma cannons. I was in the cargo bay checking the load when they fired. The pain medication injector was ready." Dr. Zelak reached toward Marcus's arm. "No drugs," he said firmly. "But the pain. I need to stay alert. Drugs make me fuzzy." Dr. Zelak had never met anyone who refused pain medication with such severe injuries. "The medication will help you heal faster. I will heal fine without it." She put the injector away, confused but respectful of his choice. Marcus continued his story. "The explosion threw me against the cargo containers. Felt things break when I hit. The ship lost power and artificial gravity. Emergency lights came on." "What did you do?" Nurse Shimmer asked. "Started crawling toward the bridge. Had to get the ship moving before the pirates boarded." "You crawled with these injuries?" "Doctor." Venth could not hide his amazement. "Dragged myself mostly. Took about 4 hours to reach the bridge. Ship was damaged pretty bad. Took another 2 hours to get the engines working." Dr. Zelak ran additional scans while Marcus talked. His body showed signs of severe stress. His muscles were exhausted. His nervous system was overloaded. But somehow, everything still functioned. "How long did it take to fly here?" she asked. "About 6 hours. Navigation was offline, so I had to do it manually. Hard to see sometimes with the head injury." Nurse Flo gasped, creating a small wind current. "You piloted a damaged ship for 6 hours while nearly unconscious?" "Not nearly unconscious. Just hurt. There is a difference." Dr. Zelak was beginning to understand something important. For humans, being injured and being unable to function were 2 different things. She thought about her own species. When Vorthak were hurt, their bodies forced them to sleep. It was automatic. Pain meant rest, until healing was complete. "In my people, this level of injury would cause immediate unconsciousness," she explained to Marcus. "Our bodies shut down to protect us." Marcus nodded. "That makes sense. But humans do not work that way." "How do humans work?" Dr. Venth asked. Marcus thought for a moment. "We keep going until the job is done. If we fall down every time something hurts, we never finish anything." "But you could die from these injuries," Dr. Zelak said. "Maybe. But I definitely would have died if I stayed on the ship. Pirates do not take prisoners." Dr. Zelak ran one more scan. This time, she focused on Marcus's brain chemistry. What she saw made her scales stand on end. His brain was producing massive amounts of stress hormones, adrenaline, endorphins, and other chemicals she did not recognize. The mixture was keeping him conscious and functional despite trauma that should have shut down his nervous system. "Your brain is essentially drugging itself to keep you awake," she said in wonder. "Is that bad? For any other species, it would be impossible. Your body is doing something we have never seen before." Dr. Zelak looked around the room. Her staff was equally amazed. They were witnessing something that challenged everything they knew about biology and medicine. She had one more question. The question that had been bothering her since Marcus walked through their door. "Marcus," she said slowly, "how is your entire species not extinct?" Marcus smiled despite his pain. It was the first time he had smiled since arriving. "Doc, that is a long story. But the short answer is simple. What is it? We are too stubborn to die." Dr. Zelak believed him. She was looking at living proof of human stubbornness. Marcus Chen had 17 broken bones, internal bleeding, and a serious head injury. He had crawled through a damaged ship, piloted it for hours, then walked into their hospital under his own power. And he was sitting upright on her examination table, refusing pain medication, and telling his story like it was a normal day. For the first time in her medical career, Dr. Zelak wondered if there might be different ways to survive than the ones she had learned in school. Maybe sometimes, The best way to heal was to refuse to stop living. Dr. Zilak began treating Marcus's injuries while they talked. She worked carefully, setting his broken bones and sealing the internal bleeding. Marcus stayed awake through all of it, asking questions about the different alien species in the hospital. "Tell me about your people," Marcus said as Dr. Zilak worked on his arm. "How do you handle getting hurt?" Dr. Zilak was happy to explain. It helped her understand why Marcus seemed so different. "When Vorthak suffers serious injury, our bodies force us to sleep. We enter what you might call hibernation. Our metabolism slows down, and we heal very slowly but completely." "How long do you sleep?" "For injuries like yours, perhaps 2 months." Marcus looked shocked. 2 months? What if someone needs your help? Others take care of us while we sleep. It is how we have survived for millions of years. Nurse Shimmer floated closer. "My people, the zeolites, break apart when damaged. Each piece heals separately. Then we rejoin when ready." "That sounds useful," Marcus said. "Does it hurt when you break apart?" "No. It is automatic. Our crystal structure separates to prevent total destruction. Much safer than staying together when damaged." Nurse Flo condensed into a speaking form. "Ethereals can disperse into gas when threatened. We spread out until danger passes, then reform." Marcus nodded thoughtfully. "So all of your species have ways to avoid damage or shut down when hurt?" "Yes," Dr. Zilak said. "It is basic survival. Injury means rest until recovery is complete." "Humans work differently," Marcus said. "How so?" Marcus was quiet while Dr. Zilak injected healing gel into his fractured ribs. When she finished, he spoke carefully. "Humans evolved on a planet with big predators and harsh weather. Our ancestors could not hibernate when hurt. They could not break apart or turn into gas. If they stopped moving, they died." "So what did they do?" Dr. Venth asked. "They learned to keep going even when injured. The ones who could push through pain lived long enough to have children. The ones who gave up died." Dr. Zilak found this idea disturbing. "That sounds very dangerous." "It is dangerous, but it worked. Humans survived by being too stubborn to quit." "What do you mean by stubborn?" Nurse Shimmer asked. Marcus smiled again. "We had hunters who would track animals for days with broken bones. Mothers who would fight off predators while bleeding from serious wounds. Explorers who walked across continents with injuries that should have killed them. Why would they do such dangerous things? Because giving up meant death. Not just for them, but for their families, their tribes, their children. So they learned to ignore pain and keep working." Dr. Zilak was beginning to understand something important about humans. Their refusal to give up was not just stubbornness. It was a survival trait developed over millions of years. "Is this why you refused pain medication?" she asked. "Partly. Pain tells me what is wrong with my body. If I cannot feel it, I might do more damage." A loud alarm interrupted their conversation. Red lights flashed throughout the medical center. The intercom crackled to life. "Emergency and Maintenance, Section 7. Child, trapped in machinery. All available medical staff respond immediately." Dr. Zilak and her team looked at each other with worry. Maintenance Section 7 was dangerous even when everything worked properly. If machinery was malfunctioning, it would be extremely hazardous. "I will go," Dr. Venth said. "I will come too," Nurse Shimmer added. They started toward the door, then stopped. Dr. Zilak saw the problem immediately. If the machinery was unstable, any of them could be seriously injured. Dr. Venth would go into hibernation, sleep if hurt. Nurse Shimmer would break apart. Neither could help a trapped child if they became casualties themselves. "This is a problem," Dr. Venth said quietly. Marcus tried to stand up from the examination table. "What kind of machinery?" "You cannot go," Dr. Zilak said firmly. "Your injuries are too severe." "What kind of machinery?" Marcus repeated. Dr. Venth checked his tablet. "Cargo loading equipment. Very heavy, very dangerous. A zeolite child was playing where he should not have been. He is trapped under a fallen beam." Can your people get him out? The machinery is unstable. Any shock could cause more equipment to fall. If we are injured while trying to help, we cannot continue the rescue. Marcus stood up fully. His legs shook, but he stayed upright. I can help. Absolutely not, Dr. Zelak said. You have 17 broken bones. Broken bones do not stop me from thinking or using my hands. You could be killed. Marcus looked directly at her. Doctor, there is a child trapped under machinery. If I can help save him and choose not to, I will never forgive myself. That pain would be worse than any broken bone. Dr. Zelak realized something profound. For humans, emotional pain could be stronger than physical pain. The thought of not helping someone in need actually hurt Marcus more than his serious injuries. The area is too dangerous for injured personnel, Dr. Venth protested. It is too dangerous for anyone whose body will shut down if they get hurt, Marcus corrected. My body does not shut down. If I get injured helping that child, I will stay conscious and keep working. Nurse Flo formed into a dense cloud of concern. Your logic is sound, but your body is already severely damaged. My body has been severely damaged before. I am still here. Dr. Zelak looked at Marcus standing there with his arm in a brace, his ribs wrapped, and blood still on his face. He was offering to risk his life for a child he had never met, of a species he barely knew. This was not just stubbornness. This was something deeper. Humans did not just refuse to give up on themselves. They refused to give up on others. If you go, I go with you, Dr. Zelak said finally. You could be hurt, Marcus warned. Then you will have to keep going for both of us. Marcus smiled. Deal. As they headed toward Maintenance Section 7, Dr. Zelak realized she was about to learn something important about human nature. She had always thought courage meant not being afraid, but Marcus was clearly afraid. She could see it in his eyes. Human courage was not the absence of fear. It was choosing to help others despite fear and pain and danger. For the first time in her life, Dr. Zelak wondered if her people might be missing something important by always choosing safety over action. The rescue in Maintenance Section 7 took 3 hours. Marcus crawled into spaces too dangerous for the other species, using his good arm to move debris while his broken ribs screamed in protest. The Zelite child was saved. Marcus refused all medical attention afterward, saying his injuries had not gotten worse. By the next day, everyone on Kepler Station had heard about the human who walked into the hospital with 17 broken bones. The story spread through the station like wildfire. Different species told it in different ways, but the basic facts remained the same. A human had stayed conscious and functional with injuries that should have killed him. Marcus became uncomfortable with the attention. He tried to stay in his hospital room, but visitors kept arriving. Scientists wanted to study him. Station residents wanted to see him. Children of various species brought him drawings and gifts. Dr. Zelak found him trying to hide in a supply closet on the second day. The attention bothers you, she observed. Marcus nodded. I am not special. I just did what anyone would do. Marcus, no one else would have done what you did. No one else could have done it. That cannot be true. Dr. Zelak sat down beside him. She had been thinking about this for 2 days. Let me ask you something. If a Vorthak had your injuries, what would have happened? He would have gone to sleep to heal. If a zeolite had your injuries, she would have broken apart into safe pieces. If an ethereal had your injuries, he would have dispersed until the danger passed. And if a human has your injuries, Marcus understood what she was getting at. He keeps going until the job is done. Exactly. You are not special because you are superhuman. You are special because you are completely human. Before Marcus could respond, alarms started going off throughout the station. Not medical alarms this time. Emergency system alarms. The kind that meant everyone was in danger. Station Commander Rix's voice came over the intercom. All residents to emergency stations. We have a critical reactor failure. Repeat. Critical reactor failure. Dr. Zelak and Marcus hurried to the medical center's main room. Other staff were already there, watching the emergency broadcasts on the wall screens. The situation was bad. Kepler Station's main reactor was overheating. The automated repair systems had failed. Manual repairs were needed. But the reactor chamber was flooded with deadly radiation. Commander Rix, a tall Vorthak with silver scales, appeared on the screen. His voice was calm, but serious. The reactor must be repaired within 6 hours, or we will lose containment. If that happens, the explosion will destroy the station and everyone on it. Dr. Zelak felt her scales go cold. 50,000 people lived on Kepler Station. Representatives from dozens of different species. All would die if the reactor could not be fixed. What about the repair robots? Someone asked. The radiation has damaged their circuits. Only manual repairs will work. Who can do manual repairs in that much radiation? Dr. Venth asked. The answer came from Chief Engineer Corp, an ethereal who appeared as a dense green cloud on the screen. The radiation levels in the reactor chamber are instantly lethal to most species. Even with protective gear, exposure time would be limited to minutes. How long do the repairs take? Dr. Zelak asked. At least 30 minutes of direct work inside the chamber. Silence fell over the room. Everyone understood the problem. No known species could survive 30 minutes of lethal radiation, even with protection. Marcus stood up from his chair. What kind of repairs? Dr. Zelak grabbed his arm. Do not even think about it. I am just asking what kind of repairs. Chief Engineer Corp's voice came through the speakers. Manual reconnection of coolant lines and replacement of damaged control circuits. The work requires steady hands and clear thinking. Any special training needed? Basic engineering knowledge. The procedures are straightforward, but must be done precisely. Marcus looked around the room. I have basic engineering training from my cargo hauling work. Marcus. No, Dr. Zelak said firmly. The radiation will kill you. Maybe. But if no one fixes the reactor, it will definitely kill everyone. Dr. Venth stepped forward. There must be another solution. What solution? Marcus asked. Your people go into hibernation when stressed. The zeolites would break apart from the radiation damage. The ethereals would disperse to protect themselves. Who else is going to do it? The room fell silent again. Everyone knew Marcus was right. Their species had evolved better ways to avoid death. But those same evolutionary advantages made them unable to face certain death to save others. The radiation will kill you slowly and painfully, Dr. Zelak said quietly. Probably. But maybe I can finish the repairs before it kills me. And if you cannot? Marcus met her eyes. Then at least I tried. That is what humans do. We try. Even when we probably cannot win. Chief Engineer Corp's voice returned. We need a decision quickly. Each minute of delay makes the situation worse. Marcus started toward the door. I will do it. Doctor. Zelak blocked his path. You already have 17 broken bones and internal bleeding. The radiation will make your condition much worse. My condition is my problem. The 50,000 people on this station are everyone's problem. You could die for nothing. The repairs might not work. They might work. If I do nothing, we all die for certain. If I try, some of us might live. Dr. Zelak stared at him. She realized that Marcus was not being heroic or brave. He was being logical. Human logic. The kind that said trying and failing was better than not trying at all. If you are determined to do this, she said slowly, then we will help you prepare. You cannot go with me this time, Doc. I know. But we can give you radiation treatments beforehand. Stimulants to keep you conscious longer. Pain blockers for the worst of it. Marcus shook his head. No pain blockers. Dr. Zelak wanted to argue, but she was beginning to understand human thinking. Marcus trusted pain to tell him the truth about his condition. It was part of how humans survived impossible situations. The radiation treatments then, and the stimulants. Okay. How long do I have to prepare? 2 hours, Chief Engineer Corp answered. After that, the radiation will be too intense for even a human to survive long enough to complete the repairs. Marcus nodded. 2 hours. Let us get started. As Dr. Zelak began preparing the treatments, she realized something that made her proud and terrified at the same time. She was about to help a human do something that was almost certainly impossible. But if anyone could do the impossible, it would be Marcus Chen. After all, he had already walked into their hospital with injuries that should have killed him, then helped save a child while bleeding internally. Maybe impossible was just another word for something humans had not tried yet. Dr. Zelak worked quickly to prepare Marcus for the reactor repair mission. She injected him with radiation-blocking drugs that would buy him extra minutes of life. She gave him stimulants to keep his brain working when his body started shutting down. She wrapped his broken bones in stronger braces that would support him even if his muscles failed. Marcus sat quietly through all the preparations. His face was calm, but Dr. Zilak could see the fear in his eyes. He knew he was probably going to die. "Are you sure about this?" she asked as she finished the last injection. "No," Marcus said honestly. "But I am sure about what happens if I do not try." Chief Engineer Corp materialized as a dense green cloud beside them. "The reactor chamber is ready. We have prepared radiation suits, but they will only help for a few minutes." "How will I know what to do?" Marcus asked. "I will guide you through communicator. The repairs are not complex, but they must be done in the right order." Marcus stood up from the medical table. His broken ribs were tightly wrapped. His fractured arm was locked in a support brace. His shattered ankles were reinforced with metal supports. He looked like a man held together by medical equipment and determination. "How do I get to the reactor chamber?" "Follow me," Dr. Zilak said. "I am coming with you as far as the entrance." They walked through the station corridors together. Word had spread about what Marcus was attempting. People from dozens of different species lined the hallways. They watched in silence as the injured human passed by. Some reached out to touch his hand or shoulder. Others simply stood and stared. A group of Vorthak children had made a banner that said, "Thank you, human Marcus," in multiple languages. Z-Light adults flickered their crystal bodies in patterns that meant respect and gratitude. Ethereal families formed dense clouds that sparkled with appreciation. Marcus looked uncomfortable with the attention, but he nodded to everyone as he passed. They reached the reactor section of the station. The corridors here were empty. Emergency barriers had been raised. Warning signs flashed in every known language. Lethal. Radiation. Zone. Lethal. Radiation. Chief Engineer Corp was waiting for them at the final checkpoint. He had formed himself into a humanoid shape to operate the controls. "The chamber is through that door," Corp said, pointing to a heavily shielded entrance. "Once you go inside, you will have perhaps 40 minutes before the radiation kills you. The repairs should take 30 minutes if everything goes perfectly." "And if everything does not go perfectly?" Marcus asked. "Then you will run out of time." Marcus nodded. "Understood." Dr. Zilak helped him put on the radiation suit. It was bulky and uncomfortable, especially over his medical braces. The helmet was heavy on his injured neck. "The suit will protect you for maybe 10 extra minutes," she said. "No more." 10 minutes might be enough. Dr. Zilak looked at Marcus through his helmet faceplate. She had known him for only 3 days, but he had changed her understanding of what courage meant. He was not fearless. He was terrified. But he was going anyway. "Marcus," she said quietly, In case this does not work out, I want you to know something." "What?" "You have taught me that my people have been wrong about survival. We thought the best way to live was to avoid death. You have shown me that sometimes the best way to live is to risk death for something important." Marcus smiled. "Take care of yourself, Doc." The reactor chamber door slid open. Heat and radiation poured out. Even through the shielding, Dr. Zilak could feel the danger. Marcus walked into the chamber without hesitation. The door sealed behind him. Dr. Zilak and Chief Engineer Corp moved to the observation room, where they could watch through thick protective glass and communicate with Marcus. Inside the reactor chamber, Marcus looked around at the damaged equipment. Coolant pipes hung loose from their connections. Control circuits sparked with damaged wiring. Everything was bathed in a sickly green glow of radiation. "I can see the damage," Marcus said through his communicator. "Where do I start?" "Coolant line connections first," Corp replied. "Red pipes connect to red outlets. Blue pipes connect to blue outlets. Marcus got to work, moving carefully but steadily. He began reconnecting the damaged cooling system. Each movement sent pain through his broken bones. But he did not stop. Dr. Zelak watched the radiation monitors. Marcus had been inside for 10 minutes. His radiation exposure was already at dangerous levels. "How are you feeling?" she asked through the communicator. "Hot, tired, but okay so far." After 20 minutes, Marcus had reconnected most of the coolant system. But Dr. Zelak could see he was slowing down. The radiation was affecting his nervous system. "Control circuits next," Corp instructed. "Yellow wires to yellow terminals. Green wires to green terminals." Marcus moved to the control panel. His hands were shaking now, but he worked methodically. Yellow to yellow. Green to green. Dr. Zelak held her breath with each connection. At 30 minutes, the radiation alarms were screaming. Marcus's exposure levels were far beyond anything any known species had ever survived. "Almost done," Marcus said. His voice was weaker now, but still determined. "2 more connections," Corp said. "The main power coupling and the safety override." Marcus reached for the power coupling. His hands were shaking badly now. He missed the connection twice before getting it right. "Marcus, your radiation levels are critical," Dr. Zelak said. "You need to get out of there." "1 more connection," Marcus replied. "Just 1 more." He reached for the safety override. His legs gave out, and he fell to his knees. But his hands kept working. He found the right wires and made the final connection. The reactor chamber lights changed from red to green. The radiation alarms stopped. The reactor was stable. "He did it," Corp said in amazement. "The reactor is safe." Marcus collapsed fully to the floor. Dr. Zelak could see him through the observation window, lying motionless in his radiation suit. "Medical team to reactor chamber," she called over the communicator. "Emergency extraction needed." The next few hours were a blur of desperate medical work. Marcus was unconscious when they pulled him from the reactor chamber. His radiation exposure should have killed him 3 times over. His broken bones had shifted during the work, causing new internal bleeding. But somehow, he was still alive. Dr. Zelak and her team worked through the night. They treated radiation sickness, reset bones, stopped bleeding, and fought to keep Marcus's vital signs stable. When he finally woke up 2 days later, the first thing he asked was, "Did the repairs work?" "The reactor is stable," Dr. Zelak told him. "The station is safe. 50,000 people are alive because of you." Marcus nodded weakly. "Good. That is what matters." Over the following weeks, as Marcus slowly recovered, Dr. Zelak wrote her report to the Galactic Medical Council. It was the most important document of her career. "Humans possess a unique combination of biological resilience and psychological determination," she wrote. "Their ability to function through severe injury, and their willingness to sacrifice themselves for others, makes them ideal for emergency medical situations. I recommend that human medical officers be stationed at every major hospital in the galaxy. Not because they are superior healers, but because they are the only species capable of attempting healing when the situation seems hopeless." The report was approved unanimously. Marcus Chen became the first human to receive the Galactic Medal of Honor. He was also offered positions at dozens of hospitals throughout the galaxy. He turned them all down. He wanted to go back to hauling cargo between stations. But something had changed on Kepler Station. Children of many species would point at Marcus when they saw him in the corridors. They would whisper to each other about the human who saved everyone. Dr. Zelak often visited Marcus during his recovery. One day, she found him sitting by the observation window, watching ships dock at the station. "Do you regret what you did?" she asked. "No. But I hope I never have to do anything like it again." You could have died." Marcus looked at her with clear, honest eyes. "Dr. Zelak, everyone dies eventually. The question is not whether you die. The question is whether your life meant something before you died. And did your life mean something?" Marcus smiled and pointed to the busy station around them. Ships coming and going. Families walking together. children playing in the corridors. 50,000 beings living their normal lives. Yeah, he said quietly. I think it did. Dr. Zelak realized she had learned the most important lesson of her medical career. In a galaxy full of species that had evolved past the need for heroes, humans remained stubbornly heroic, and sometimes, the galaxy needed heroes more than it needed good sense. Sometimes, the galaxy needed someone willing to walk into a hospital with 17 broken bones and refuse to fall down. Sometimes, the galaxy needed humans,